I'm too drunk and excited to sleep. I'm also down to my very last pair of underwear, but at least all my alcohol is packed safely. I have a remedy for when I get a song stuck in my head. I listen to it once, all the way through, and then I'm clear. In Germany, however, music copyright laws mean that every YouTube link with identified music is blocked. So, Carly Rae Jepsen will be with me all the way back to America. Earlier than is reasonable, I go downstairs and find Hundley, Frankie, and John ready to go on one last adventure. John was out all night sightseeing and wandering the subway system, so he takes the lead. We have an hour and a half to see all of Berlin we can. John successfully gets us to the East Side Gallery. In 1990, two German artists' associations came together to commission 105 paintings. Over the years, 2/3 of the paintings were damaged by weather, graffiti, and direct vandalism. This led to a restoration effort. While restoration sounds great, how they went about it was by steam removal of the original art and then inviting the artists back to repaint their murals, which, as you can guess, pissed off everyone. Some artists repainted, some refused, and some are suing for copyright infringement over the restoration crew repainting their original artwork. Besides those problems, in March of 2013, a demolition crew began destroying a 23-meter chunk of the gallery without notifying any of the artists or the East Side Gallery staff. The workers were making room for luxury apartments. A large group of protesters halted the work, but it's unclear if the demolition will actually stop. It's ironic that if the wall falls this time, rather than gaining freedom, Berlin will lose part of its identity. Speaking of limited time, walking just this small part of the gallery takes longer than we thought, and we realize 45 minutes have elapsed. We get lost trying to find a train terminal that'll take us to Hundley's photo spot. I point to something called a funk taxi, and we all jump in. The cab driver's blasting AC/DC, which relieves some of Frankie and Hundley's tension. I'm still a wet bag of cats. As much as I love Germany, I don't want to get stuck here. John tries to explain where we need to go to the cab driver using Hundley's photo. If any of us had done proper research on Berlin, we would have known it's the Brandenburg-Gate in the photo. It's embarrassing that none of us knew why it was so important. Hell, it's a landmark so famous it has its own Lego set. In 1788, King Frederick William II of Prussia commissioned its construction. It's where Kennedy visited in 1963, and the Soviets hung large red banners blocking his view into East Berlin. It's where Ronald Reagan gave his famous "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall" speech. It's where David Hasselhoff put on a benefit show that started the stereotype that all Germans love him. A year after we visit, this is where Obama will discuss PRISM, the US internet surveillance program. He will mention that the US can find a balance between security and privacy without a hint of irony. It pains me to say this about Obama, but
PRISM is the best. I love PRISM.
20 minutes later, we leap out of the cab and power walk to the gate. Getting the photo right takes a few minutes, and there are a bunch of failed attempts. Finally, we get something close. We trade cameras with another tourist and manage to not look concerned about being abandoned in Germany just long enough to get this group photo. We jump down the steps of the train station just in time to see the train we need leaving. After 10 minutes of staring at each other in concern, the next one arrives. The ride takes 15 minutes, meaning we only have 10 minutes to be back in the hotel lobby fully packed. After partying all night and running around for 2 days with no sleep, I find I can't run anymore, and everyone else is in the same condition. My heart starts pounding with anxiety, and we all do a painful out-of-breath shuffle to the hotel. Luckily, right as we walk through the back door, the shuttle driver announces it's time for everyone to board. I hustle upstairs, grab my already packed bags, get back downstairs, and it's a relief that my birthday won't involve being left in Germany. The flight back takes 12 hours, and the only person sitting next to me is Albert, instead of a pretty girl, which is actually great news because I smell awful. Everything about the flight is a blur except for the fact that I'm still hearing "Call Me Maybe." When I get back to my desk at work, I discover this is what they did to it while I was gone. So that's it, whole trip. At this point, most people would want to talk to you about something schmaltzy or sentimental about the value of travel and all that nonsense. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to show you the most important thing I learned in Germany. How to pour a beer properly. The first step is that you either chill your beer or you keep it warm. You can look it up on Wikipedia for the type of beer you have. Take your glass, tilt it at a 45-degree angle, put the neck of the bottle a little bit into the glass, and gently pour it against the side. Okay, now before you get all the way through pouring all the beer out of the bottle, you stop. The reason that we stopped pouring beer before the very end was simply so that we can get the last little bit of yeast broken up and exploded out into the beer. If you don't do that, it's not going to taste as good, you're going to miss out on most of the flavor. So how you're going to do that is you basically roll the bottle, it's going to break up what's on the bottom. That allows you to get the last little bit of yeast up and out of the bottle and into your glass. And that is how you pour beer properly. Prost. That is nice. Well, next time you see me, I might be in England. Take it easy. Okay, I'm gonna keep drinking.
Keep.
This beer has so much sediment in it that it kind of looks like maple syrup when you pour it over pancakes. You know what I'm talking about with the little bubbles? What are your thoughts on your beer?
It's great. I just wish I was walking around the streets of Culm while I was drinking it. Cheers.
Prost. Actually, because we have a moment, I'd like to point something out. Someone told me that whenever you say prost, you're supposed to clink the bottom of the glass for some reason. Like if you clink the top, it's bad luck. I guess it's like cheering with water.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure. If somebody out there knows, you can let us know. So, no. Prost. The views and comments expressed in this video are not representative of the Bitburger Pils Company, though I was given sips of Bitburger and pinches of sauerkraut as a baby. Thanks for being a badass babysitter, Johan.